Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Esoterica, and we got a fun and random episode for you guys this Friday. Because for the longest time, I've had this PC Engine Briefcase unit sitting next to me as we do all these voiceovers, and this video is going to talk about the hardware, form, and function of the interface unit, as well as the PC Engine and the CD-ROM attachment. It's also a little bit of a test to see how many people out there like the TurboGrafx and PC Engine. Thinking about a series, not quite decided yet, so leave me a comment down below and tell me if you think I should do that. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But any system that plays something like Rondo of Blood is a winner in my book. And I bought this briefcase unit after I already owned a Duo R for a very long time. I wanted to check the hardware out, I wanted to see what was going on with it, and I just absolutely love it. It's colloquially known as the briefcase unit, but it's actually the IFU-30 Interface system. This allows you to put both a TurboGrafx PC Engine, I'm going to use the names interchangeably, as well as that CD-ROM 2 drive in there. You can use the standard PC Engine, you can use a Core Graphics or a Core Graphics 2. This is basically the way to allow users that already had a PC Engine in their home to add a CD-ROM attachment to it versus having to go out and buy a Duo R, or Duo RX. And I just love it in this white colorway. I think it looks so much better with the original PC Engine than with the Core Graphics, but however you do it, this is just such a fun industrial design. Having the CD-ROM drive next to the PC Engine in this big briefcase is just such a fun thing, and you'll see here that it does have an eject button, and these units come out separately. And the fun thing about the CD-ROM drive is that there's so many other things you can do with that outside of playing games, and I will mention them very shortly. But as we take a closer look at this unit, you're going to see that they have these connectors back here, both for the CD-ROM drive as well for the PC Engine. It is such a simple plug-and-play procedure. It's like adding a controller or memory card into a console, except in this instance you're actually adding consoles into an interface unit. You'll see there's a couple nipples there to keep it from sliding. CD player on the left, PC Engine on the right, just giving you a look at kind of how that's demarcated, because again, a lot of this video is just about the industrial design. But the big thing that this brought to the PC Engine, unless you had a Core Graphics, was the ability to get at least composite video out, because the original PC Engine was only RF, which is a very interesting thing to ship. But taking a look at an original PC Engine here, the white one, this is the most iconic design, and I love how simple and rudimentary the design really is. You'll see where it says to put in the AC adapter, you'll see that antenna switch, power on or off, with this little green plastic tab there that prevents you from taking the Hue card out, and then just a controller port. It is such a small, compact, and concise system. It is one of my favorite looking things, and it doesn't really seem like it would be as good as the PC Engine really is, because it's always impressive to see how much hardware they fit in such a small space, and I will show you that shortly. Obviously with Hue cards, you just get Hue cards. They run on any single PC Engine, and there is some region locking and you can change the cards around, but when we get to the CD-ROM system, it's going to be a little bit different. If we take a look around the left, you have channel 1 and channel 2 for RF, which is different than the 3 and 4 we use in North America, and that standard RF port. But I'm not even sure who grew up with RF here. Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you were in the channel 3 and 4 generation. And you will see a closer look. It's just such a nice color green, and it is such a smart thing to be able to prevent people from taking the Hue cards out. Now I do want to show you what's inside, so we'll pop some screws out here for game bits. But the one problem with the PC Engine is the internal design. It's an absolute disaster to work on for one reason and one reason only, and you'll see in just a moment here. Just make sure you got that game bit and you will pop it open. When you open a PC Engine, be very careful. The Hue card slot has a ribbon cable, and that ribbon cable is directly soldered to through holes on the board. It is a slightly annoying system. You would have to remove that, desolder all of it if you need to work on anything inside. I mean, you can sneak around a little bit, but it is very tight in there, and you will see those custom demarcated Hudson chips. There is not a lot of hardware on a PC Engine, and what it's able to achieve with just that hardware, let alone not adding the CD-ROM drive yet, is nothing short of spectacular. The hardware, when developed for intelligently, had some games that would get really close to what a Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis would. But now let's take a look at the CD-ROM unit. The fun thing about this, you'll see we have a stop, start, play, pause, track forward, track backwards, and repeat button, is that you could plug this in the wall, plug headphones into it, and you could use this as a portable CD player. It is not just for games, and with the right attachments you could even use this as a CD-ROM drive for certain types of computers in Japan. You get this little LED window there when you're playing a PC Engine game, it'll say PC, and when you're listening to audio you'll just get a track listing. The interesting thing is the lid is a lift off, and sometimes that can be a little bit touchy, but as you take a look inside here as I move Rondo of Blood to the side, I just love the squareness of this. It looks like basically a hamburger that that just happens to be able to read optical discs versus being something you eat. And I know that's a very weird comparison, but it is just kind of what I see when I look at the unit. And because of course this is a standalone CD player, if you want it to be, you're going to have a volume control on the front. It doesn't really have anything to do when you're using this as a gaming console, but if you do take this out into the wild to listen to CDs, and I'm sure nobody does that anymore, you do have it. And obviously you can't listen to much whatsoever if you don't have a headphone jack. And you'll see here on the side just kind of the mechanism of lifting that up and closing it again. It is very satisfying. It closes with a hefty click. And if you take a look around the back, you're going to see the CD-ROM out, which works for both the interface unit and certain PCs. And you'll also have the DC in a 9V if you want to use this separately, and a line out as well. You can totally put one of these into your stereo system at home and listen to discs with it. I have tried it, it works, it is actually pretty fun. But if you take a look at both the original PC Engine and the CD-ROM drive side by side, I just love the white colors, and these have actually aged relatively well compared to something like my Duo R. It seems like the plastics are different. This is definitely getting a lot scummier and a lot more yellow, and I should probably retrobite this at some point in time. Now, when you're done taking this apart, it's really easy to put it back together, slot it in, and push. If it's not going in, it's not aligned, take that as you will. There's probably a joke in there somewhere. But that is as simple as it is to build an entire PC Engine setup outside of having the system card in the PC Engine. And we should talk about that because it is quite important. You'll see here this is a version 2.0 card, and that is what came with this briefcase unit, and I have not yet upgraded it because I do have the Duo R, which is the version 3.0, and it all has to do with different memory structures. You'll see here if I put a copy of Panic Bomber in and I tried to turn this on, it would not work because this is a Super CD game. There's regular CD games, Super, and Arcade. Every single game will tell you what it is. Normally you're going to have a red spine on it, but it'll say Super CD-ROM 2 system. This is dead of the brain. Awesome game. The last game ever released for the PC Engine in Japan. Sometimes there will be a logo on the back, sometimes there won't, but every single disc is going to tell you what you need to have as far as the card is concerned. So if you are looking to get into collecting these games, obviously every single HuCard game will work in any single PC Engine so long as it's the right region, but if you do use something like Rondo of Blood on the wrong system card, you're going to get this hilarious intro that does show Dracula's castle in the background, and it's very quickly going to go into a game that you'll never see before unless you have the wrong system card. And that's actually why I leave the System 2.0 card in here, so I can see stuff like Stage X. The only way to play this in Rondo of Blood is to have the incorrect CD card in there. If you don't, you're never going to be able to experience it, so I do leave that card around just for fun. But like I said, if you're getting into collecting for the system, you definitely want to make sure that you get the right system card. Honestly, a Duo R or Duo RX is going to be the better system from a technical standpoint of playing it. But as far as the fun, the design, the industrial language of the interface unit, it is my favorite PC Engine piece of hardware ever made. And interesting, when you go to the Duo versus the interface unit, it's CD-ROM on the right, HuCard on the left, versus the interface unit, which is the complete opposite. Obviously, it has absolutely nothing to do with the function. They both work in the exact same manner, but it's just a fun observation to see how those change. And that's the thing. I just love all of this hardware. And I am curious if a PC Engine series would do well, because the last couple of times I've talked about PC Engine, the videos have not done well. I'm trying to make a series work, but I don't want to make 10 episodes on something I don't think will happen. So definitely leave me a comment down below, tell me if you want to see it, and tell me what your favorite game is. And the one last fun feature here is this little lock. If you push it to the right, it's going to lock all that hardware in place so you can't slide it off, and you'll see it's a power as well. And it would be really bad of me to call this the briefcase unit and not show it to you in action as an actual briefcase. It has a handle, so long as everything's locked and clicked away, you can pick this up and just carry it with you. I don't know if anyone ever did that back in the day. I don't think I would actually trust it. I'd probably put it in a bag all the same. But I just absolutely love this combination of hardware. That optic white with the gray inside of a briefcase with all of this technology. CD-ROMs were still relatively new when this came out. Compared to something like the Sega CD, I think this is a much more elegant looking piece of hardware. I've always loved the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx. I know a lot of you guys do too, but I am curious what that favorite game is, so leave it down below. But I've been collecting for the system a really long time, and I still think that the interface unit with the original PC Engine in white as well as the white CD-ROM unit is the best looking combination of hardware, because there's the Duo, the Duo R, the Duo RX, a slide-on CD-ROM drive that will go onto the back of a core graphics. There's so many different options to play this hardware, but honestly, anything that plays Rondo of Blood is going to be a 10 out of 10 in my book. But tell me, do you own a PC Engine? Are you thinking about collecting it? Do you use FPGA or software emulation? Short of that, you've seen the hardware, and I'm done. Bye-bye.